Right, so why are we here today? Well, my fellow plunderers, I'm sure you've seen the title of the video. We're going to go ahead and explore a variant of a deck that I hold very, dear to my heart. As you can see with my background here, you can see the plunder ships and all that, right? So we're going to go ahead and explore a current list I'm working on that I like to call Plunder the Dark World, right? Basically, it's a Plunder Patroll Dark World hybrid. I was actually, before the new structure deck came out, I was big into trying to make this deck work. And then when the structure deck did come out, they went ahead and released some really lovely cards, like some lovely cards that really put the deck together. So over time, the deck just started to meld together, and we just had to put the pieces together. Yeah, it's all coming together. So we're going to go ahead now and go directly into the deck list, my pretties. Let's go. Yo ho, me hearties. Right, so we have the deck list here. We have One Piece meets HR Geiger or Hellraiser. I always thought of like the Dark World cards, for the design. I always thought of them like Cenobites or like HR Geiger type of. Well, I think Cenobites were designed by Alex Glives, so Alex Glives mixed with like a HR Geiger kind of art style, right? So now for the deck list, we have 2 copies of each name, right? 3 copies of the field spell, and 1 copy of booty. So we have Black Eyes here, Chopper, searches on himself to recur a name, tutors into a name from deck, locks you into plunder, goes into a ship. Adds discards can summon itself if you control a other name, and also can draw a card if sent from the field to the hand. So in this it's a case where these 2 can act as the same, right? Goal in here, special summons from the graveyard, locks you into plunder, can dump 1 from hand to go ahead and tutor from the hand. 2 copies of a Redbeard Shanks, right? We have this one tutors into a ship and also can jump onto a ship if leaving from the hand or the field. So we have our plunders here, right? We have Chopper, Edward Newgate, Whitebeard, Buggy, Eglin, and we have Shanks. 3 copies of the shipyard. Discard 1 to go ahead and add 1, which this does come up which is cool because you can discard like this, which can definitely make plays. 1 copies of booty, an insane continuous trap that if this card is allowed to resolve over a multitude of turns, you will most likely go ahead and snowball. Now onto the hell spawns. We have 1 Grapha, 2 copies of a boy Rainbow, the prideful one. We have a 1 copy of Ye Old Silver. Nice hand you have there. Now pay taxes. 1 copy of Beige. This helps you to make bouncy plays, do the bounces. And it's also a level 4 to help you make your rung for plays, right? You can go into a hard made Mork and so on and so forth. 3 copies of Genta. So we need to play 3 copies of Genta because you want to maximize on somewhat of your discards, and Genta is access to one of the best ways to do that. So we need to play 3 copies of him, of course, none once per turn. 3 copies of Snow White herself, Snow on Light. We have this girl here, Best Girl, goes ahead to discard. Once discarded, adds any Dark World card, right? Dark Worlds have a lot of searches, you come to realize. 2 copies of the Blue Boy, Sorelli, right? So basically, this is a way to go ahead and trigger the secondary effects of your boys to go ahead and get their effects. Keep in mind that this guy is mandatory, right? So this injunction with this can search a snow, bounce snow, begin your plays, and it's a dark. It summons itself to their field, and is a lovely way to go ahead and tutor into a Morg, right? And get your plays going. We have 2 copies of Brawl, the Huntsman, right? We can go ahead and discard. So basically, add field spell, discard this, get 2 draws. So these act as the same in somewhat, but this doesn't ask you to discard, right? Why can't she be Moonlight Brow? We have a copy of 3 copies of the best discard fodder in the game for this deck. The Gates of the Dark World. Go ahead and discard a fiend, banish a fiend, draw 1. You know, not cost to your effects. We have 1 copy of Dark World Archives. So, you know, we want Mirage of Nightmares or Nightmare of Mirage to be unbanned. Well, there you have it. There you go. We have it here. You know, we have this lovely card. It's basically, right. We have it right here. We have Mirage and Nightmare at home, and it's good, right? We have a boy Gren in here, you know, on his Sigma grind set, reading some books. You know, book a day, they say, right? You know, the top G, he says 1 book a day. You know what I'm saying? So we have 1 copy of a session. Basically, what this does is fusion summons any fiend monster, right? Keep that in mind. That's a secret tool, a surprise tool used for later. So what this does is, you know, fusion summons by discarding materials or banishing materials, right? So it's a case where you can go ahead and trigger your effects that way, and also it can add it to the back of the hand by discarding 1 card. Was it say 1 card or 1 fiend monster? Yeah, discard 1 Dark World monster, right? So you can go ahead and discard whatever you're discarding. We have our non-engine supplementary cards, right? 3 copies of Tour Guide, 1 copy of Doomdog. So basically, this searches these guys, and you can make link plays into it. It's crazy. Like this and Genta, chef's kiss. Muy bien. That's a spicy meatball, right? We have 3 copies of Salamander, one of the greatest ways of discarding currently. Right, this card is crazy. It was clearly made with Dark World in mind. I mean, come on. You could have just made this a Dark World card and call it a day. Like, seriously speaking. Our only going second card really is 3 copies of Dark World No More. This deck doesn't really benefit from playing hand traps. You know, that's Dark World's thing. They need a lot of things to make them go forward. Hence why their endboards are so crazy, because they're mostly just gas. Now, onto the extra deck. And this extra deck makes me so angry the way it's so good. So basically, we have a copy of New Grapha, right? So something I've noticed is that, like, Rainbow is the king, right? But Grapha is always above him, right? Because you have, like, let's locate it here. You have All Rainbow, which is this guy, who is level 8. Level 8 or level 7, right? So Grapha is like always 1 above him, always 1 above him, right? He's the king or whatever, but Grapha is always above him. So he got an upgrade and then became stronger than Grapha. But it's like, okay, since you're getting stronger, here's what I'm gonna assess myself and become stronger. And then he went further beyond and became New Graph, right? Which became a fusion spell. So basically, like, Rainbow is the Vegeta to Grapha's Goku, hence why, you know, he searches him, and he cannot bounce back Grapha, but Grapha can bounce him. And I'm saying levels the lore, right? So we have 1 copy of Alice. Again, any fiend monster you can banish, like these 2 from graveyard to make a list, and then you can, like, discard a red beard to equip it to list, and so on. 1 copy of Bran, 1 copy of Hope Harbinger when you're making like a rank 8 with cards like, you know, these 2 guys if you have to. 1 copy of Dugares to go ahead and start our plays. We play a lot of level 4s to make it. 2 Moork. At no point in time are you cutting this lovely boy to 1, right? In my opinion, the format is dark, you know, tier element. Banish their Kid Kalos. Watch them cry. 1 Kid Kalos? No Kid Kalos? Right, we have 1 copy of Appaloosa, and you cannot trash. You cannot convince me otherwise. It's Bear Appaloosa Supremacy. Bear. Look at me in my eyes and tell me the bear. It's Bear Supremacy. Bear Supremacy. 2 copies of Blackbeard Marshall D. Teach. Right, to go ahead and tutor into ships and draw 1 card. These guys tutor on the opponent's turn. These guys tutors anytime. 1 copy of Crush Sheep. normally what we're making with these two to go ahead and add a rainbow, activate fusion spell to make this guy summon back a snow, you bounce snow to hand. You know what I'm saying, you make the plays. We'll show them in the replay shortly. One copy of Mookcracker, you know, for times when you need some way to discard and you don't have that way in hand. You have it in the extra deck. A card that to this day I still wonder, how did this card not get hit during toss format? Like, please, somebody explain to me how this card was not hit for the entirety of toss format. This card was drawing 12 cards a turn, and Konami thought that was fine. But anyway, one unicorn, one IP. At first, I wasn't playing these. I was playing one Armorage and one more copy of this, because playing two of this plays better into Dark Ruler No More, right? So this and this really helps you play around board breakers, right? So then and also Almirage, let's say you have like Bluebeard in hand and you have a Accession in hand. You normal summon Bluebeard, link off into Almirage, discard Accession, draw into white, add back Accession, and then you can make your plays by discarding Snow, and from there, you know, you're going up, all the way up to the east side, right? And I'm saying east side. Side deck can be anything you want it to be, really. This is just something standard. I don't like these deals because they clog zones. Back removal, something for going second if you need to go for more going second, and so most of for going first, right? So yeah, that's pretty standard. That is the list. Now, me hearties, you've met the One Piece meets the Cenobites. Now on to the replays. Let's go. Here we are, my boys, me hearties, yar. So here we have our first hand. It's not really the best of hands. I wouldn't say it's nothing crazy, right? So this hand, I guess, would be a lot more RNG based, right? To see if we can draw into some good. We have the one of, we have two one-ofs in our hand, and you know, some cards. So we're going to go ahead and let's see what we can do, right? So let's go ahead and let's go. So we discard the magenta to add gates. Then activate this, which is the archive, so it can read that I discarded. Banish by banishing this to draw one. Then we're going to go ahead and draw again, and also we're going to go ahead. Basically, so what's happening here is we draw one. This will be banished, so it will be chain link 1 archive, chain link 2 this, and chain link 3 this. So we're going to go ahead and special summon. We're going to draw, right? And then once we draw, this being the final thing on the first thing the chain link is going to resolve last, we're going to go ahead and discard a rainbow that we drew here. Quite lucky indeed. You love to see it. So we're going to go ahead and draw 2, and we draw into Redbeard and Doomdog. So this is a good draw. This is not so much. Continuing, we're going to go ahead and add we're going to add Grapha off of Rainbow here, and then we're going to go ahead and bounce Genta via Rainbow's effect. Activate Genta again, activate another Dark World gates. We're going to go ahead, activate by discarding, banishing, drawing. We draw into a copy of Ceruli. Now this right here, the hand before was poop. Not gonna lie, right? The hand before was pretty weak. It was so sad. But now, this just kicks it into high gear. Continuing. We're going to go ahead and bounce. Just resummon. We're going to activate Salamander to discard Ceruli. And then Ceruli's effect is special summon itself to the opponent's field. And since it's solvents its own effect by being special summoned by a Dark World card, which it is a Dark World card, we're going to go ahead and discard this guy. And this guy's secondary effect says if it was discarded by an opponent, you can special summon a level 4 Dark World from to either field. And we're going to go ahead for the best girl, Snow White, right? We're going to go ahead and add Silva. We're going to bounce the best girl by special summoning this back. Activate the first effect of archives here to boost our Dark Worlds. We're going to go ahead and add Accession from Snow. Then we're going to go ahead and link off into Cross Sheep. Then activate this by discarding and banishing. Then we're going to activate our chain link. So we'll go ahead, we can banish by the way, so we can discard this and banish this. This will now be on a new chain link. This is mandatory, so I believe this has to be either last or sorry, sometimes I forget, but I think this is mandatory, so I think it's either first or last on the chain link. So we're going to special summon and then special summon. Since we don't really have a name in graveyard to bounce now, it doesn't really make any sense to go ahead and summon, so we just summon anything back. Then we're going to go ahead and make our Appaloosa for 3, bounce, special summon back, and then from here we're now going to normal summon a copy of Redbeard, and we have not yet normal summoned. This was special summoned, this was a special summon, right? We're going to go ahead and continue here, going to make more work, we're going to draw. So in my personal opinion, right, accessing this hand, right, accessing this hand, it's a case where would you trade your booty for a field spell?
What do you mean by that?
Then this would be free, but I wouldn't really trade my booty. See, I even said it there. I wouldn't trade my booty for a copy of, you know, the field spell, to be very honest, right? And we're not really worried about not drawing into names because, like I said, we have our mini Mirage of Nightmare in rotation here. I think I forgot the accession, right? Accession would have added back to our hand to discard this, then bounce this back to hand using the effect of Rainbow, right? So then we could have made probably a IP, but it is what it is. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and, but for the sake of the replay, I'm going to re-add it, right? I believe so. So we go ahead and they activate the card effect. We say nope, discard silver, and may I have 2 please, sir? I demand you give me 2 cards, right? So going to go ahead and now discard that, trigger the effect of archive, since a Dark World card was a card that was Fiend was discarded by a Dark World card, right? Like I said, not worried about drawing names because we have this. So we draw into blue and that. So we have this. We're going to just go ahead and discard a card because, you know, I forgot. So we have accession set. Let's just say we have accession set, quote unquote, right? So we go ahead now and activate booty, special something about Redbeard. We make a Bran, right? And then we go through the motions. We discard the banish, add field spell, discard the banish. You know, we can draw by discarding Bluebeard, access, draw, banish, you know. And if we have to do this, I wouldn't say you should do this because we don't really need to. We have like a big fat Appaloosa here. But if you want to, or in terms, you know, something happens, but you can activate a session banishing to make a list, right? And from there, you understand what's going on. The game is pretty much over from there if, you know, they don't do something to your board, right? Draw for turn. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next replay. Alright, so this, I hate when DB does this, not reading my sleeves and my thing. But on this hand, I would say that this hand is a lot more stronger than the one before. But, you know, this one plays through interruptions. The other one doesn't really play through interruptions, right? So, on to the next play, we're going to go ahead and special summon Salamander by discarding a Snow. We're going to go ahead and add the Rainbow himself. In the prideful one, we're going to go ahead and activate this guy. Search. So you understand what's going on, right? I'm pretty sure you understand what's going on at this point. So I'll just let the go ahead and let the replay speak for itself, right? You know, going to the effects, this will be on their field. Discard by special summoning, adding, bouncing. Alright, because we have 2 level 4s, we can go into 2 Garrus here, which is just crazy. Let's draw 2, draw into a Plunder name, and we have not normal summon, so normal summon now, go into a Blackbeard, go ahead and activate more, draw 1. I don't know, man, booty's glued to my hand, I guess. Activate our session by discarding 2. I do think that Grapha is mandatory, so this would be popped, right? So this really would be popped. Special summon. Alright, link off into Cross sheep, yeah, remember, yeah. So you gotta remember that these effects are mandatory effects, right? So you had to have popped Ceruli, you have to special summon Ceruli, you know, you have to special summon this, yeah, they're mandatory. So just remember that. Make Cross sheep, add back a session, discarding this, special summon back to a zone that Cross sheep points to. That will trigger Cross sheep to a special summon a stone. And since we do have the bounce in rotation this time, we can bounce our cards, right? So we can get free pluses and draws. So we're going to activate another field spell by discarding Snow, banishing Dugaris, draw into Dark Ruler, Snow effect to add our archives. We're going to go and link off into Appaloosa for 3. Archives effect by discarding. They're going to go ahead, well, discarding, so Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. You know, discard that, draw into more Plunder names, just crazy. Right, so we're going to go ahead and bounce. Do the bounce! Right, going to go ahead and continue. Make a Blackbeard, and then end turn. So, in this case, right? In this case, the reason why I did not set this was because we wouldn't have any zones to activate our Plunder effects. Notice I made another Bluebeard instead of just, you know. So this is how crazy the deck can get. Like, you won't have enough zones to make plays, you have to make choices, right? This is how crazy the deck can get, and this is why I love it. So we're going to go ahead and continue here. Make Bran, draw, since we have Redbeard, and this is something that I like. This is why I added the Redbeard off of the shipyard, because we're going to activate a session, we're going to make a list, we're going to activate Bran, discarding the Redbeard to add a Whitebeard, and now we're going to activate Redbeard so we can have our list add, right? That is why I added the Redbeard off the field spell. You know, activate our effects, going through the motions, and you get the gist. So that is the replays, and that is the deck in general, right? So yeah, you can go ahead and just let me know what you guys think in the comment section of the deck that is, you know, Plunder into the Dark World, One Piece meets, you know, Daemons. So if you have any other any thoughts about the deck, you know, what you think you should be added, what could be added to make the deck better, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. Also, go ahead and feel free to give me a like if you enjoyed the content, and also give me a sub. I'm going to go ahead and be posting future content in general, not just deck profiles and stuff like that, right? Trying to go ahead and put a variety here. With that being said, my fellow Plunderers, yahoo! Keep safe, Merry Christmas, and I love you, right? Papa Ron loves you.